Athens, check. Thessaloniki, check. Now it's time for Greece's third largest city. Here are the stadiums and arenas of Patras, Greece. We are straight into the deep end with Pampaloponisiako Stadium, which is the largest stadium in the city. But it also has the longest name. I'm not sure which is more impressive. It's kind of like how I find it difficult to determine which is the most impressive settlement in the UK. Is it London, the biggest city? Or is it... Wow, I can't believe I nailed the pronunciation first try. Anyway, back to Greece. This ground doesn't currently have a permanent tenant, but it hosts some of the biggest football matches to take place in the city, as well as some big athletics events. The stadium was designed so that it could be potentially expanded so both sides look the same, and the capacity would rise to 30,000. I don't think that's necessary though. Also, it would diminish the view out to the hills the spectators get. I actually asked the mayor of this city if he plans on having the place expanded. He said, no, it'll cost us. Oh wait a minute, he may have just said, hello, my name's Kostas. Speaking of which, Kostas Davolis Panachaki Stadium, more commonly known simply as Panachaki Stadium. It was opened just a few months before World War II. However, it was during the Greek Civil War that followed where the stadium served as a concentration camp for guerrilla fighters. The stadium was very rudimentary at that stage, and all of the current day grandstands were built after that dark bit of history. In fact, it only became a horseshoe stadium in 1974, which was another very tumultuous time for Greece. Interestingly, the attendance record is not held by a national team, nor a local team, but the famous matchup of Olympiakos and Panathinaikos. The Athens-based clubs sold the place out in 1982. Dimitris Stefalos Arena. This is named after the wrestling gold medalist of the 1906 Intercalated Games, which were like an Olympic Games that was official at the time, but is no longer recognised as the official Olympics. Australia, the US, Egypt and Canada were the only non-European countries at the event. But I guess that's better than the 1904 St. Louis Olympics, where about 90% of the athletes were American or Canadian. Anyway, other than the name, this arena has absolutely nothing to do with that. That event took place in Athens 89 years before this place was built, so I really didn't need to say any of that. It's been primarily a basketball venue throughout its history, being home to Prometheus Patras, and regularly hosting the national team. It's always important to bless your balls. Blessed are these balls. Amen. Prosvyika Stadium. The word Prosvyika refers to a refugee settlement. The ground was built on the site of one. It was occupied by Greek refugees from Turkey. It was built for their use. That is actually a somewhat common story across Greece, as there was that huge population swap in the 1920s between the two countries. As you can see here, the field has in the past looked in worse shape than a lot of refugee camps. However, a new artificial turf field has since been installed. This is one of the rare instances in which I prefer the plastic field. There's not much to say about the architecture here, as it's about as complex as scaffolding. I'll give a quick shout out to Indoor Stadium Apollo, which seems like a decent little basketball arena. Even with the small capacity, I'm sure this place can get pretty loud. At least during the basketball games. Maybe not during the under-12s judo that sometimes takes place here. And this beachside swimming pool. If you like to swim by the sea but not in the sea, then this place is for you. But just swim in the sea. Sharks aren't even real, it's just propaganda spread by the big swimming pool companies. So there you have it. My favourite a lot would have to be, what was it called? Papalonissioka Stadium? Something like that. Pampalom. Thanks for watching, have a good one.